to offer themselves, vie for positions to Senate, and come here and make a contribution. I think Senator Ali Rob and Senator Mandago will agree that they have found it very interesting. We may not have the money that governors have, but we also make a contribution that tends to improve what happens in our counties. And this happens all over. I saw a bill, Madam Speaker, that was proposing that we should bar governors not to run for senatorial positions or member of National Assembly. I personally don't support. Let us compete. If you have had an experience as a senator for 2 terms, and the people of Tana River, where Mkatana comes from, want him to take the experience he has gained as a legislature to being governor, why not? Why should we stop Senator Mkatana from transiting to becoming governor of Tana River? And equally even for myself, Madam Speaker, if the time comes and the people of Nyamira tell me they want me to transit from being a senator to becoming a governor, we should not stop anybody. Let the people decide. Coming back to the report, Madam Speaker, it's unfortunate, Madam Speaker, that implementations of projects spearheaded by a government can stall. And that's a big indictment on us as a country, Madam Speaker. Because if you travel to many jurisdictions, projects initiated, implemented by governments should never stall. Because, Madam Speaker, if government lacks money, then it means the country is bankrupt. You know, in many civilized jurisdictions, if a government begins construction of a road, construction of a bridge, it is the presumption is that the government has money to complete the project. It's really a shame, Madam Speaker, when I look at this report, that some of these projects were launched as way back as 2015. Imagine that's in another year, next year, that will be 10 years. And then the sad part is that we have sunk money into a project, and we are having a report that says some of these projects have been abandoned. It's a big, big indictment on our country. And Madam Speaker, this money comes from taxpayers. Some of them who are struggling, you know, they get taxed knowing that the government will put into good use the money that has gone into Kenya Revenue Authority. I think it's not a very good statement on our performance, and I hope the recommendations that have been put forth by the Committee of Finance will make us realize. Our joy as a senator is to see that this process that was midwifed by the Senate, because those motions came here, they were passed by the House, money was sent to counties. Our joy should be that we go to these counties, we go to Isiolo, we go to Tharaka-Nithi, and see those projects being launched. Then we feel proud as senators. But Madam Speaker, when these projects are stalled, and when you look at the reasons, it's a shame. If you read page 19, the CS said that some of the challenges that were faced included, 1, issues dealing with supervision, issues dealing with lack of good management of the projects, bureaucracies arising from project implementation model. This should never happen, Madam Speaker, because when you are designing a project, you must input how you will supervise that project so that you are able to complete it within the projected contract period. How can our counties be telling us 12 years into devolution that they have inadequate capacity at counties to supervise projects? Okay, I don't think those are excuses that we can take as Senate. Even the excuse of lack of funds from national government, should not be convincing. I can give you an example, Madam Speaker. Our county headquarters in Nyamira, we are still being housed by the county commissioner. The county headquarters that were launched by our late governor, Mzee John Yagarama, have not been completed to date. And this idea of a governor who takes over from an outgoing governor, not wanting to complete projects that were commenced or initiated by his predecessor, is something that should not happen in government. We have what we call succession in government. There is what we used to call, Madam Speaker, perpetual succession in government. When you come on board and you find a project that was being initiated by your predecessor, you continue with it. Even this financial year, Madam Speaker, in my own county of Nyamira, the allocation is a paltry 30 million to complete the county headquarters, meaning that the current governor is not giving that project a priority because it was initiated by the previous governor, the late John Yagarama. And at times, this leaves room for speculation. I have no evidence at all. But when you put your ears on the ground, people will tell you that the commission was given to the other administration. So I need to commence my own projects so that I get something. Already, we are breaking ground for an industrial park. We as a county want to pump 250 million to the industrial park. Why, Madam Speaker, our county headquarters remain unfinished for over 10 years. It doesn't make economic sense. If I was the governor in office, I would have prioritized, Madam Speaker, completing the county headquarters, Madam Speaker, and then maybe another governor who succeeds me can initiate the county headquarters, Madam Speaker, and then allocate more money there. Our stadium, Manga Stadium, remains again incomplete. It's like a stalled project. And all this boils into the issue of a governor who takes over saying, I'll not complete projects that were initiated by a previous administration. It's not the good thing, Madam Speaker. I've seen roads in my county that were launched by our retired President Uhuru Muigai Kibaki. I've not seen President William Ruto saying, because those roads were launched by our former president, he will not continue those projects. We took over at PSC. We found Bunge Towers. Bunge Towers was launched when Marende was speaker. Those days, I think, when Mungatano was in National Assembly. Retired Speaker Muturi continued for his 2 tenures as Speaker, Chairman of PSC. We came in and we gave it priority. We completed it, and members are now occupying it. So I plead with the Chair of Finance to impress our governors to give priority to projects that we have, where money has already been spent, substantial amount of money has been spent. All they need is to just put a substantial budget, they finalize the project, and life continues. Because, Madam Speaker, if you go to Machakos, you will see what Governor Mutua did. Did beautiful county headquarters. When you go to Machakos, you feel proud. You see fruits of devolution. That's how devolution should be working. You just sit and you say, yes, these are the county headquarters of Machakos. In fact, you went further and even did some sub-county headquarters. You go to Matu, the county government of Machakos. Why can't Isiolo, Nyandarua, Tharaka-Nithi do something and complete their county headquarters? Why can't Nyamira, Madam Speaker, 12 years into devolution, not have a county headquarters? When the Gen Zs demonstrated on Tuesday, they went to that building, occupied it, and they were demanding that we want this building to be completed. What a shame to us as leaders. What a shame to our colleagues who are governors. How can Gen Zs be demanding that projects should be completed, launched, so that they can be proud members of those counties? We need to call out our governors and urge them to put aside this issue of you must get something, your hands must be greased before you finish a project. That is not what should inspire leadership. Leadership is transformative, Madam Speaker. If you do a county headquarters for Nyandarua, for Isiolo, for Tana River, that's posterity. Future generations will remember that Governor so-and-so is the one who left behind this beautiful county headquarters. We remember Kibaki for Thika Highway. We will remember President Uhuru for the expressway. Maybe President Uhuru will also do something. We will remember him. You as a governor, what do you want to be remembered for? My governor in Nyamira, what do you want to be remembered for? That Gen Zs came to demonstrate against you? No. You should be remembered that you took over 4 years into your administration, you did something. If there is no Manga Stadium, there is no county headquarters, what will the people of Nyamira remember you for? So, Madam Speaker, I want to commend the chair, and I want to encourage him to have a further discussion with IGTRC to give priority to governors of these 5 respective counties to prioritize these projects, complete them, and as a good way of appreciating our chairman, they complete these projects while he's still senator. I know people of Mandera may give him a second term, but it will be a good thing if they can finalize these projects during his first tenure as chair of finance and budget, and then he can invite us to go and open these projects. This idea, marking scheme does not reflect very well on us as a country. Madam Speaker, we have so many grants that go to our counties. Like me, we are receiving about 150 million to support agriculture. But if the report we have is that counties that don't have capacity to implement projects, how will our donors be encouraged to give us money, Madam Speaker? I really want to plead to our friends, chief executives in counties, to style up, transform our counties, Madam Speaker, complete our hospitals, do our roads. I don't think we came up with counties so that we can just have marams. I also want to walk to my county of Nyamira, Madam Speaker, and tell my people that my governor, whom I worked so hard to ensure that he gets money from Nairobi, has done even 5 kilometers of tarmac, Madam Speaker. We don't want to go to counties and all that we can see is maram. What you are seeing in these county headquarters is replicated in water projects, Madam Speaker. You go to a county, I was looking through the audit report from Nyamira, Madam Speaker. You find beautiful projects identified. You are told the county government will do 20 balls, 1 in each ward, in our 20 wards. But when the auditor is doing an assessment, he says there was no proper use of money. There was no value for money for the people of Nyamira because the balls were sunk, but no electricity was connected, no solar, no piping to homes. And he returns a verdict and says there was no value for money for the people of Nyamira. He says a project called Nyandoche Vere in Nyanshongo Ward was drilled, but nothing happened. It's a ghost project. You go to another project in the same sub-county, Madam Speaker, you find the same report. 17 million spent, no no connection of pipes to homes, no value for the people of Nyamira. Madam Speaker, if you drill a borehole, connect pipes to homes, tell the people that have supplied you water, support me to sustain the project by paying for the water you are consuming. That's the only way, Madam Speaker, devolution will have meaning to our people. And those governors who are engaging in taking cases, who don't want to complete projects by predecessors, like projects started by Senator Captain Ali Roba, it's a shame. Madam Speaker, it's a shame. And the Gen Z has shown us that they can knock on our doors, Madam Speaker. They have demonstrated that they want to put the bar very high for governance. These guys want results, Madam Speaker. They want results. So our governors should style up. Don't put kickbacks as a priority. Complete projects for our people so that we can transform this country. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Ali Roba, the mover of the motion, please reply.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to reply. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all our colleagues. Senator Mungatana, who actually was more diligent than his own governor in following up these issues as we are trying to get this request tidied up. Madam Speaker, the request came to us from the Council of Governors, and this in itself is a milestone achievement for the Senate. The Council of Governors made a request that these 5 counties are affected, on average about 8 years of implementing county headquarters. And this happened because they relied on being sponsored by the national government, while other county governments opted to finance the construction of the county headquarters themselves. And what the resultant impact of that, Madam Speaker, is that because of depending on funds inflow from national government, the projects have ended up stalling. And their request was, can then the Senate help them in engaging the critical stakeholders like the National Treasury, the Ministry of Public Works, who are supervising the projects, as well as the Intergovernmental Technical Committee, to be able to smoothly find a way these projects can be handed over to them. And the resultant, the money that was promised by the government, the national government, in form of construction of supplement for construction of county headquarters, also to be transferred to them by way of conditional grant. And then if there are gaps, because a lot of time has lapsed, definitely there is bound to be some variation. Then these county governments take full responsibility to bridge the gaps that is going to come up, and whatever monies that are going to be transferred to them by way of conditional grant, they need to also take full responsibility for the accountability for that money. We managed to engage these stakeholders very successfully, and I want to thank the immediate former Minister for Finance, Professor Ndungu, who was extremely receptive to the idea. And the engagement took us a little bit of time. However, eventually, we managed to have consensus with all the stakeholders, and we managed to get that project transferred successfully to the 5 county governments. That is Tharaka-Nithi, Isiolo, Tana River, Lamu, as well as Nyandarua. And as at the time of the handing over, Madam Speaker, these projects initially the county government promised 1.815 billion. However, the national government only managed to release 837 million to these counties, leaving a balance of 977 unreleased. Now, during the process of engagement, we also managed to convince the National Treasury to include in the 2 subsequent county additional allocation bills that we had, that one of the 2023-2024, where it's an act of parliament now, 454 million has already been included. And we also managed to push further to get in the current county additional allocation that we are processing for the financial year 2024-2025. We also have 445 million included, and leaving only from what the national government has promised a balance of about 78 million shilling that has not been factored in, which before the minister was, the cabinet was dissolved, we were engaging the cabinet and already agreed that it should be included in the current county additional allocation bill to conclude the part of the contribution from the national government. Now, I would like to take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to urge our governors, the 5 governors, to expeditiously open special purpose account to facilitate the funds flow under the conditional grant to be able to be sent to them. And then these projects, they need to take the bull by the horn. I know, based on experience, that if a project that was started 8 years ago, the cost of completing it now will definitely be more than the cost of tendering. They should not use that as an excuse. They need to top up what's required, because other than the 5 counties that were lucky but also unlucky to have been sponsored by the national government for construction of county headquarters, the remaining 42 managed to build their own county headquarters using the shareable revenue they were receiving and the own source revenue, meaning they also need to be obligated to make sure these projects are finished and the public can benefit from the projects. Madam Speaker, I also wish to report, I know this agenda has really remained on the order paper for a long time, but during that process, the handover has taken shape already. The governors have taken full responsibility for the project, and we hope and pray that in about 12 months' time, all those projects need to come to conclusion, particularly in terms of structures. Madam Speaker, I beg to reply. However, pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I request the putting of the question to be deferred to a later date. Thank you.
Yes, the putting of question is deferred to a later date, and I hope the committee will do a follow-on report when the completion of the projects are done, so that they can report to the House. Next order number 23. Is it 24? Sorry. Order number 24.
Order number 24, report of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of West Pokot County Assembly for the year 2018-2019 and reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Isiolo, Kiambu, Kitui, Marsabit, Narok, Nyamira, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, and Murang'a County Assemblies for the financial year 2019-2020.
The chair of this committee, Senator Kajun, is not here. The order is deferred. Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, the chair of this is Honorable
It's not
Ososi.
Mr. Speaker.
No, Madam Speaker, the chair of the Special Accounts Committee is Honorable Ososi. And then from our iPad, it has debate from our iPads, unless I'm reading a different information. So we would like to make a contribution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senator, this motion was moved by Honorable Senator Kajwang, and he had not finished moving the motion. He had a balance of about 15 minutes before he could conclude moving the motion, so it's premature. So the order is deferred. Next order.
Order number 25, motion establishment of national teaching and referral hospitals in Kenya.
Senator Mwaruma, I believe.
Measures in place to ensure safety of traders and customers at Kibuye Market. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my third statement, first statement, I am a serious senator. The third statement, Speaker, sir, is on the management of the operations, is on the management framework for master operators in Kisumu County. I rise under Order 51 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources regarding the regulatory and management framework for master operators, MOs, in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, the Kisumu Water and Sewage Company to low-income areas in Kisumu City at a fair price. There have, however, been numerous concerns by residents regarding the water billing by Kiwasco, as well as the MOs within this model. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should explain the criteria for appointment of MOs, outlining the requisite qualifications as well as their roles and responsibilities. 2, provide a schedule of all contracted MOs, including the respective areas they serve, and disclose how the MOs calculate water bills, because this is unclear, outlining any specific guidelines and regulations put in place by the county government and or Kiwasco to ensure the bills are affordable and accurate, and that the bills process is transparent. 4th, explain how Kiwasco and MOs address grievances by customers relating to their water bills. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, report on the protocols established by the county government of Kisumu to hold grievances by residents related to the billing prices at Kiwasco and MOs providing a status update on the processing of all filed grievances since the beginning of the contract. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Lelego.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I raise request for statement on anomalies in the payroll and delays in payment of salaries to the staff in the County Executive of Samburu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding anomalies in the payroll for the staff, both contracted and those on permanent and pensionable terms serving in the County Executive of Samburu. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide detailed information to ascertain how money is authorized by the control of budget from the County Revenue Fund amounting to approximately Kenya shillings 176,253,831 for purposes of June 2024 salaries were utilized by the County Executive, given that no staff in Samburu County Executive has been paid for the month of June 2024. 2, provide reasons for the non-payment of June 2024 salaries for the permanent and pensionable staff, despite the approval and release of salaries by the control of budget pursuant to Article 228(5) of the Constitution, mandating the control of budget to authorize all withdrawals from the County Revenue Fund. 3, explain how the County Executive plans to address the salary arrears in the current financial year 2024-2025, detailing the itemized expenditures that depleted the salary allocation for June 2024, thus resulting in this situation. 4, ascertain the status of salary and salary-related requisitions in respect of the fiscal year 2023-2024 for the County Executive, and whether the procedures, including recommendations of the control of budget, are adhered to or not, and whether the exchequer release in respect of salaries and salary-related items are utilized for the purposes for which they are requisitioned. 5, give the rationale behind the payment of lump sum statutory deductions in the June exchequer releases for previous months, including statutory deductions for June 2024, despite the non-payment of actual salaries for the month of June 2024. 6, provide a detailed statement disclosing monthly statutory deductions and status of remittances for the fiscal year 2023-2024, and reasons for non-payment and reasons for non-compliance, if any. 7, state the steps measures taken by the county government to mitigate against risks of legal suits and penalties arising from non-remittance of statutory deductions, including pension and employee obligations such as insurance covers, loan deductions, among others, withheld but not remitted on timely basis to the relevant institutions. 8, outline plans for addressing and compliance on pension-related deductions, explaining how the county executive intends to pay obtaining penalties arising for the month of May 2024 in respect of all casual and contracted staff, that is the non-integrated payroll and personnel database, non-IPPD, amounting to Kenya shillings 25,756,746, stating respective beneficiary details, and also submit details amount paid per month to casuals and contracted staff in the fiscal year 2023-2024, as well as the budget estimates for the same in the current fiscal year 2024-2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wakole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. On the status of payment of monthly stipend to community health promoters in Bungoma County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on the status of payment of monthly stipend to community health promoters in Bungoma County from January 2024 to date. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide a list of all community health promoters in Bungoma County disclosing their contact information as well as their areas of deployment. 2, state the total earnings paid to the CHPs so far and indicate the arrears owed to them by the county government of Bungoma and the national government respectively. 3, specify the pay points of CHPs along with details on whether there was public participation involving the county government and the promoters in the selection of these payment points. 4, clarify whether there is an existing contract between the county government and CHPs and inform if the stipend they are currently receiving is in accordance with the contract, with this contract. And 5, outline the measures implemented by both the county and national governments to address current delays and ensure timely payment in future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Maruma. That statement is dropped. Senator Maruma had 2 statements, so those 2 statements are dropped. Statements pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, the Senate Majority Leader.
Statement, Mr. Speaker, this statement arises pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1 to hereby present the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 23rd of July, 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the status of legislative business before the Senate is as follows. We have 49 bills that are pending conclusion in the Senate, of which 42 are at the second reading stage, while 7 are at the committee of the whole. Mr. Speaker, it is important to remind colleagues that the reason why we have these 7 bills at the committee of the whole is that we have not been able to raise the requisite delegations to transact that business. Therefore, I want to request the whips, Mr. Speaker, to work and ensure that we have enough delegations next week to conclude on those businesses. There are 20 motions, Mr. Speaker, which are pending conclusions. We have 21 petitions that are due for reporting by the respective standing committees, and 374 statements that are pending before the respective standing committees. 3, as indicated at order number 9 to 13 in today's order paper, we have pending business at the division stage. I request honorable senators to remain in the chamber for the voting process. Mr. Speaker, sir, the SPC will meet on Tuesday, 23rd of July, 2024 to consider the business for the week. The tentative business for Tuesday will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as the business indicated in the notice attached to the order paper. The tentative business for Wednesday, 24th of July, 2024, morning sitting will include business not concluded on Tuesday and the following. 1, which is the report of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference held in Accra, Ghana, report of the 147th IPU, report of Kenya delegation to extraordinary session of the Pan-African Parliament, report of the Kenyan delegation, various reports, Mr. Speaker. The business for Wednesday will include business not concluded in Tuesday and the following morning. These are the bills, Mr. Speaker, that I was referring to, that are the committee of the whole stage. The Tea Amendment Bill, the Gambling Control Bill, Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Bill, Meteorology Bill, the Nuts and Oils Crops Development Bill, Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill. These bills are at the second stage, reading stage. The Wildlife Conservation and Management, the Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, the Early Childhood Education Amendment Bill, the Fire and Rescue Services Professional Bill. There are motions as well that need consideration Number one is the report of the Select Committee on the County Public Accounts on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Tharaka Nithi, Homa Bay, Kakamega, Kirinyaga, Makueni, Meru, Bomet, Muranga, Nandi, Nyamira, Nyeri, Siaya, Vihiga, Wajir, and Samburu County executives for the financial year 2019-2020. Mr. Speaker, it is important for colleagues to note that these are important reports from the County Public Accounts Committee on the various operations of our county governments that have been considered by PAC, and therefore we need to debate and conclude. You can see that some of these reports date to as far back as 2019, 2020. And therefore, we need to conclude on those matters, Mr. Speaker. There's also the report of the Select Committee on the County Public Investments and Water and Special Funds on its consideration of the audit reports for the various water service companies for the financial year 2018, 19, 19, 20, and 2021, which is addressing the challenges of power, purchase agreements, renewals, and electricity supply in Kenya. There is also a motion, Mr. Speaker, a very interesting one, on the stoppage of funds to Isiolo County government due to failure by the governor to honor Senate summons. This is I'm not sure how many other times we've done this before, but it's a unique motion, Mr. Speaker, and therefore it will be instructive to follow what happens. There's also a development of a policy and law for social risk management in infrastructure development projects in Kenya. A very important motion, Mr. Speaker, that we need to consider. You can see, Mr. Speaker, when many of us travel abroad, you can tell a construction site from as far as almost a kilometer away, depending on how well it is done, providing paths for people to pass and the following. That is what this motion speaks to. Social risk management in construction sites. In this town, Mr. Speaker, sometimes even when you're driving on our roads, you just hit a manhole that has been left open by people who are constructing, damages your car. Nobody is held responsible, Mr. Speaker. As a House of Parliament that supervises, Mr. Speaker, the various government agencies, this is something that we need to speak about, and we need to conclude on this motion, Mr. Speaker, so that, and even elevate it beyond a motion, so that you hold the responsible state agencies that should be able to provide this mechanism for citizens to live in a safe country, the opportunity. The projected fee business for Thursday, 25th, will be business not concluded on the order papers for Tuesday and Wednesday and any other business schedule. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and hereby lay the statement on the table of the Senate today. Thank you, Speaker.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)A of the Standing Orders of the Senate to make statement concerning the consideration of the Committee of the Reservation of the President on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you may be aware, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2024, was introduced in Parliament pursuant to Article 218(1)B of the Constitution, which requires that at least 2 months before the end of the financial year, there shall be introduced in Parliament a County Allocation of Revenue Bill, which shall divide among the counties the revenue allocated to the county level of government on the basis determined in accordance with the resolution in force under Article 217. 2024 was passed by the Senate and the National Assembly on the 11th of June 2024 and 25th of June 2024 respectively. The bill was transmitted to the President on the 28th of June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill has passed by Parliament and transmitted for assent, divided among the 47 counties, a total equitable share of 88 billion 153 902 710 for national government and 400 billion 116 million 7